So it was bound to happen. We built this thing with so much high-end hardware in it, we need to see if it can game. Let's go. Anyway, guys, I'm Greg Hrutkay of Hrutkay Mods, and welcome to part 4 of the Xserve series, where in today's video we're going to go off the beaten path a little bit and try to game with my Xserve, which surprisingly will work quite well, but it was not easy to do. And of course, this is going to be a full-on server, so it's already set up as a server, which has made it really hard to figure out how to game on it. But I think I was successful, and we will find out. But if you remember Linus Tech Tips video up here, he tested the last Apple server and tried to game on it, and he did it wrong. I said that the day he did it. But at the time, this thing was so broken, and I was missing so many parts in it, that I couldn't do a response video to it. He, I believe, used El Capitan and Steam with a Janky GPU setup, which you'll see I had to do the same thing. But El Capitan, by then, you really couldn't game on it. Steam was about to drop support for it. And then, well, they dropped it for High Sierra, and they've dropped it for a lot of Mac OS versions now since then. He did a good job at what he had, but he didn't do it right. And today we're going to show you how you were supposed to do it. We could game on this in Mac OS, but I don't want to because games just aren't very available for Mac OS, at least for Intel anymore. It's mostly Apple Silicon, which you can't run on this thing. So today we're going to be running it in Windows Server 2025 Data Center Edition. This is where the problem starts. This thing has been a nightmare to set up the game on, because even though Server 2025 is basically Windows 11 24H2 underneath, for instance, the Vega 56, which you'll see right before we start gaming on this thing, AMD doesn't make drivers for server, and their installer checks to see if you're running server or not. Needless to say, I couldn't install the drivers, which was a problem, and I tried multiple different hacks from GitHub and all this stuff. None of them worked. I could not get it to work. So I finally gave up and went to the Microsoft driver catalog and looked up a driver for Windows 11 and force installed it on. Driver works fine. The problem is it's from 2023 and I can't update it, which shouldn't be a problem because most of the games we're playing are from 2020 or older, and so that shouldn't be an issue. But I also installed GTA 5 Enhanced, the first time I've ever tried it, and it runs it incredibly well, but every time we start it, it says that we need to update the graphics driver because it's too old. It still runs fine. It's actually quite impressive that AMD is still supporting the Vega 56 because it was introduced in 2017, and they're still making drivers for it. And we're talking about equivalent to about a GTX 1070. It's a pretty good performer, but it's still getting updates, unlike the 1070. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. I was going to try my 3080 Ti on here, but I don't have any power supplies that have 8 pins times 3. So I had to settle for my Vega 56. Plus, if we had done the 3080 Ti, we would have had to remove the built-in GPU because the drivers aren't compatible. So it's been kind of a hit or miss thing. But anyway, what we're going to do now is transition to you over to where where I'm going to show you how it's hooked up. It's pretty janky, but it works. So, yeah, here's that. All right, let's show you what the current setup is and how we have it hooked up to the system here. We have my Vega 56 right here. Yeah, this is pretty janky, but it works, so we'll just live with it here. We've got the Vega 56 plugged directly into the board with a PCIe extension, and then we have it powered off of my Razer Core X here, which I had to have jumpered to power on. We've got my wireless internet here. We've got the JC Hi-Fi here for speakers, and that is connected to this, a USB adapter for sound, and it's plugged into this USB 3 hub because that's the only way I can make this adapter work in Sequoia for some odd reason. So it's been kind of a janky mess here, but it works. As we can see, it is showing a display, and it just does what it needs to do here. Yes, it was quite janky, but it worked. We also ran some 3D benchmarks on here. I just ran Firestrike because I wanted to compare the original GPU, well, the upgraded GPU, to the Vega 56 to see just how big of a difference it was. And it was a huge one. So let's show you those. Here's the regular vanilla Firestrike test for the K2100M. And as we can see, it's not exactly what you'd call a powerhouse. It's a pretty bad GPU. Perfect for Mac OS, awful to game on. The K2100M did a 1000 and something. This has done a 12490, and it is a huge difference. This is a lot better. I think this thing might be able to game. And yeah, so, big difference, wasn't it? Anyway, we are now going to try to game on this thing. And we'll set you guys up to the monitor here. I wanted to use my ultra-wide from Ken, but for some reason, I can't find the power supply to it. So we'll be using my half-dead cinema display, and hopefully it works through all of this. So, yeah. Let's start gaming. Alright, so before we start gaming here, if anyone knows why this is pegging one core in Windows and only Windows, please enlighten me. It did it in Windows 11, it's doing it in Server 2025. I have no clue why. I've gone through all of the programs. It's just always pegging one core. Go figure. But anyway, other than that, let's start gaming. Now, I just found another problem. This is not an original Xbox controller. This is a Razer Wolverine, and server doesn't have drivers for it, nor will it download them. So I don't know if this is going to work. I had to download from the Microsoft catalog again the drivers, force them on, and it detects a Razer now and actually works. The thing is, I don't know if the controller itself works. This isn't my controller. This is my buddy's controller. Hence the reason why there's no thumbsticks on it. I don't know how well this is going to work. But we are going to start, I guess, with GTA 5 and go from there. Now, how long does it take to update the stupid game launcher, Rockstar? It just keeps resetting itself. I just want to open the game. Now, I can't remember if I actually said, but this didn't save any of my game saves. So I had to start from the beginning again, just to get this to run, which is fun. So far, the controller is not working. Oh yeah, this is going to be great doing it with that. Seriously! Freaking! I wish I had my Xbox controller. Alright, so we'll do it with the keyboard and this stupid mouse. Okay, we're going to actually use a real gaming mouse. This might help a little bit. By the way, PC controls for this game suck, and I've always played it with a controller. Getting the game started was it was a nightmare. because I don't know any of the key combinations. Not a single one of them. So, we'll let this thing load up and then we'll continue on.
Don't become no murder case now.
Game. Settings. Audio. Music. There we go, that's better. As we can see, it runs really well. This is the enhanced version. Screw you, Simeon. I cannot steer with this stupid keyboard.
Hey, my car! Live!
It runs really smooth. It's working totally fine. I didn't even see that. Get out of my way. Simeon's getting on my last nerve. The fans aren't even kicking on the card. This is working really well. I know. Shut up. Stop calling me. As we can see, it runs GTA really fairly decently. I have not changed in the settings on this. It's weird because it's showing me the Xbox controls. It's not even plugged in anymore. That's nice. Graphics. These are the current graphics set up here. Okay. What the? These are the current presets. And these are the current presets. It's not even using all the graphics. This is a really good high setting here. So what we're going to do is run the benchmark. What? Oh, you... Ooh. Run the benchmark. What? Run the benchmark. There we go. So we'll let you sit through this benchmark. We'll accelerate it some. But look at this. It rarely ever drops below 60. The lowest I ever saw this benchmark run was in the mid-40s. I don't even know if the V-Sync is on. Here's where we might lose a little frame per second here. Now it's still lumped at about 60. Look at it. remind you, this is GTA 5 Enhanced. This is made for DirectX 12 cards. It's supposed to hammer them. It's not hammering this Vega. The lowest I saw was 47 FPS. That's pretty impressive. So now we're going to skip into another game and continue on. Okay, the next two games I have never personally played. I've been wanting to for years. We've got RDR2, which I've been wanting to since it came out in 2018. I just never had time. But I have it, and I've had it for quite some time. I've just never played it. So we'll be playing RDR2's Benchmark, and we'll also be playing Cyberpunk 2077. So let's start with RDR2, because it takes a while to boot up. Here we go with all this BS again. You can't update. You keep refusing to update. Just go away and open the game. Ooh! See? Graphics. Benchmark tests. Time to benchmark. We'll see you in the benchmark because this takes a minute or two to load up. I've already actually tested this. This is the most challenging game for this system. You'll see a lot of frame drops and stuttering. And yet, it never drops below about 40 in FPS, which is weird. But you'll see in this benchmark, it struggles a little bit, but who knows? It could just be the monitor, because I used a smaller monitor on this. So we'll let it boot up, and we'll come back. We're starting pretty strongly at 59 frames per second. Not too bad. Yeah, we're dropping down to 41 there. The card's fan just started spinning up. Yeah, we dropped down to 37 for a second there. We can see the glitches and stuttering. I don't know if this would really be a game that you could play and have fun with on this system because the stutters. I don't know, you might get used to them. It might be totally different when it's not in the benchmark. I haven't tried the game yet. Coco, don't puke in here. Go in there. Go in there. No, you're not puking in here. Go in there. You go. That's a boring benchmark there. Looks like nighttime in a field somewhere. That's a great benchmark. It's stuttering a bit here. Drop down to 41 for a second there. 40. So far the lows are probably in the mid-30s. Fans are kicking up on the card again. That hit 38 there. Yep, there's a good stutter. I think the biggest problem with this game is I don't think it likes working with two CPUs. One CPU with multiple cores, yes, but two, I think something gets lost in the translation. It's like one CPU is trying to catch up with the other one.
Let's go.
Lots of stuttering. It just does not like this game. But I mean, it's still playable frame rates if you can get past the stuttering. There we go. Minimum FPS 2. Maximum 80. Average 45. The last time I tested this, it got 47. 45 is a playable. It's not bad. Alright, so we got that. Now let's open up Cyberpunk and see how it goes. It is windowed. Why is it windowed? It wasn't windowed when I tested it last time. Okay, now we can benchmark it. I don't remember how you do it now. Can we... Hello? Benchmark. Yes. This one is the game that surprised me the most. It runs amazing on this. And the benchmark even loads fast. 58, 60, 59, 60, 61. '76, 70. No stutters, no anything like that. Very smooth. I wish this had ray tracing on it. Wow. There we go. Average FPS 66. I got like 70 something the last time I tested it. Minimum 55. It never dropped below 50. Max 80. That is pretty impressive. And as we can see, Windows Server 2025 data center. Yeah. This is actually not a bad gaming system if you're not afraid of making something a little janky. But yeah. So let's wrap up the video. So yeah, gaming on an Xserve is doable. But as you can see, it's not practical. And it's very loud. If you want a game on a Mac of this era, I'd recommend the 5.1 Pro. Especially since it's got actual built-in audio and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. This is not what you want to game on, but you can, and I've proven that. It's functional. This is silly. This is kind of stupid. But yeah, I thought it'd be a nice change if we tried something like this on here. We're going back to business as usual on this thing, finishing setting this thing up as a server. In the next video, all the games and stuff will be off this drive because, well, it's a server. It needs to stay a server. So it's not going to be a gaming machine. It's going to be my server. So I have to get rid of all the games, all the drivers I forced onto it. It's going to take a while to get it back to the way it was. But once it's back to the way it was, in the next video we will be going over all the operating systems and my plans with the operating systems. And then after that, for the probably final part of it, so that's part 5, Part 6 will be setting up the Xserve RAID, which I'm not looking forward to because I've been having problems setting this thing up as a server. But I think in the end it's going to be worth it. So yeah, next episode we'll be going over all the operating systems, playing around with them, testing them out, and showing you that this thing's still a viable system as both a Mac and a server. And Apple never considered this a Mac. They never really called it a Mac. It just happens to run Mac OS on it. And it happens to be a Mac, but Apple always called it a server and not a Mac. So, it's not a Mac, but it's a Mac. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope this was entertaining, to say the least. And, yeah, don't forget, guys, I have a Patreon and memberships and buy me a coffee. Please like and subscribe. And that's the end of today's video. This has been a Hrutkay Mods video.